Alrighty, good evening, everybody. My name is Matt Story, and I'm going to be going through kind of a new account orientation for everybody and sharing some tips to help make your experience with PRL easier and better, and to put all the tools that we have available ready for you. Now, right now, everybody is on mute, but at the end, I will open it up to questions. You can also type them in if you're online looking at the slides, and I'll answer all those questions at the end, basically. Unless it pops up in the middle of it, I'll try to answer it as I'm going. The first question, though, was asking, is there going to be a packet afterwards discussing what we cover tonight? For those of you that are on the call, we will make this available again to hear again. We'll make the slides available for you. And then I will mention a couple of things, and I've talked to the account representatives, and they all know what I'm going to talk about tonight, so that when you call in over the next few days, they'll have all of that ready for you. So yes, there will be materials that will be available relating to what we're talking about tonight. So thanks a lot for joining, and like I said, I'll dive right in, and then we'll take questions at the end. So let's see. The first thing that I just want to kind of bring us all together on is why did you choose to work with PRL Premier Research Labs in the first place? Some of you may have had a colleague that told you, "Oh, you got to check these guys out." Some of you may have had a patient come in. Some of you maybe have heard Dr. Marshall on the radio or something. Um, but the bottom line is that there's a reason why you found our company, and there's a reason why we're working with you, and that's to help spread this kind of healing technology as far and as wide as we can. What makes us unique as a company is that, I mean, really, you kind of have, for one of the first times, kind of a new paradigm in nutritional science, moving away from the solely orthomolecular approach and using nutritional products that have the ability or the capacity to increase the cell resonance of the body. And this is the highest bioelectromagnetic state. And we do this by using nutrients in the highest form of purity that we can find, and then packaging them without any sort of toxic excipients or tag-alongs or things in the packaging that would bring down or degrade the quality of what you're delivering to your clients as a finished product. At Premier, what we try to do is take the best ingredients from around the world, uh, put them together in a product without using some kind of weird chemical excipient to do so. And what we observe is that when you combine all of these nutrients that have an affinity for the cell resonance, the sum of their parts are greater than the individual benefit. And this is, a different approach than a lot of people are taking in nutritional medicine. A lot of people are looking at one compound. They're almost taking a very drug-like approach to it. Finding one compound, looking at a study maybe for that, and then going in and just giving the body 300 milligrams of that, or um, isolating one particular thing, and not considering that in nature, you have a lot of synergists and cofactors and things that come along with the nutrients that in nature and in food the body uses to transport and utilize itself. The easiest example of this is probably vitamin C. Everyone thought that that was the thing, and then we had synthetic ascorbic acid. But in reality, in food, in nature, you have a complete matrix of bioflavonoids and other compounds that we don't even know about, to be honest with you. I mean, we're very advanced with nutrition nowadays, but there's still compounds that they're discovering in foods and figuring out these kind of hidden factors as far as why things work the way they do. And so our goal with everything that we make, everything that we do is geared around clinical practice and what's going to work for cases that are walking through the door in our clinics. For those of you that are totally new to PRL, we do have a clinic in Austin, Texas, as well as one in Santa Monica, California. And so working with actual clients is where the majority of the products really are born from. And so the goal with our company is to again, induce this quantum cellular resonance, delivering the light frequency from the botanicals into the body and raising the overall resonance of the cells. Now, skip the slide here. Sorry. So, I brought this up to just kind of show you guys, I mean, the concept here, and, let there be light. The whole baseline of all of this is that, we, from a biophysics model, if you will, a quantum physics model, we as human beings are light eaters. We're eating the photonic energy from the plants that we take in and feeding the cells of our body, feeding the DNA with this light energy. And so achieving cell resonance can only be done with things that have a body of light from once living, ideally botanicals, that can deliver the light energy, the biophotons, the photons into the body and match the resonance of the human body. So when we say that we're trying to match the cell resonance of a particular product to the body, in the beginning, Dr. Marshall was using a lot of like oscillation equipment and measuring frequency and using some of the measurements for various organs that other quantum physicists were doing in experiments and things like that. So finding like a resonant frequency for something like the heart, let's say. Or most of you maybe are familiar with using animal glandulars, and in Premier we don't use any animal glandulars because the animal tissue, a dead tissue, doesn't really have that body of light anymore. So rather than get like a desiccated thyroid tissue to try to work on a thyroid, what Dr. Marshall's done and what we do at Premier is grab phytonutrients, different kinds of botanicals, herbs, you name it, and combine them together to have a same kind of frequency or resonance as something like the thyroid tissue. And so each tissue or each area of the body, each organ of the body has its own little frequency. All of the cells in our body are a unique semicrystalline matrix. So, if you're kind of new to this whole concept, the easiest way to think about it is like the chandelier hanging, beautiful crystal chandelier hanging from the roof or from the ceiling, and all those little unique crystalline structures. Or if you look at a snowflake in a microscope, I mean, they're all these beautiful little crystalline matrices with their own forms. And so all the cells of your body and organs and glands and so forth have their own ideal resonant frequencies. And so some of you maybe even work with machines, that deliver frequency to the body in your practice already. And the thing that I've always appreciated, as I learned more about energy medicine and frequency and so forth, one thing that I really appreciate about what Dr. Marshall's done is I look at our test kit that we use to test clients, and I look at the products that we make as frequency in the form of food, because frequency is awesome. I mean, if you have, if any of you have heard of, Royal Rife and frequencies, and like I said, maybe you already use devices like that, maybe you already use homeopathics in your practice, but you got to have both. You got to have the frequency and the substance to back it up. And so that's really where our product line shines, I think. Now, in the beginning, I told you that we would have some materials available for you. We do have a PDF that's like an introduction to the company as well as to the QRA system. And there's a great write up in there on the biophotonic emissions from our hands and this whole concept of cell resonance and how that relates to the healing process. And it's a great thing to kind of get your head wrapped around this new paradigm. It's not just energy medicine. I mean, it's really a new paradigm of nutritional medicine, functional medicine, whatever you want to call it. This concept that, yeah, there really are frequencies, and yes, the ultimate goal here is to feed the DNA of the body and to feed it with light energy, and that's really what we're trying to accomplish with the way that we do things. Now, um, unfortunately, toxic ingredients in nutritional products have become, unfortunately, the norm for the most part. You have a lot of companies, I think there's a lot of companies out there that really intend well. They're not making the products with, some of these excipient ingredients in a devious way. I think some are, to be honest with you, trying to, make the bottom line as best they can. But I think some companies really have a good intention, but maybe they just don't realize, don't have the equipment to test for some of this stuff, or just don't have the tools to really find it that well. You know, one thing you guys may not know from a raw material sourcing, from a manufacturing standpoint, is that they have companies out there that if we received, let's say, a batch of whatever herb, pick an herb, um, let's say olive leaf, and it was contaminated. Let's say that we tested it with microbiological and it came up that it had E. coli bacteria on it. There's companies out there that will take that raw material and sterilize it either with radiation or with other means, and then resell it back to companies that manufacture supplements. And so if you can't figure this stuff out, if you can't test for it, if you don't have the tools to really do this, and of course the the integrity to not use those kind of things, like I said, I think you could be inadvertently, a lot of companies may be using really poor quality stuff to deliver to their clients. And so you guys as practitioners obviously are looking for, the best. I mean, a totally different tier of quality for your practice, because you have people coming to you looking for um, a real transformation with their health. Um, Before we get off the body of light subject, there's a question: do the same organs of different people have the same cell resonance? And if not, how do we calibrate that with the supplements? So, there's kind of no way to make a product that would match everybody, to be honest with you, um, because there's a range. So the resonance of my thymus or my heart or whatever is going to be in some way, shape, or form different from yours, but there's kind of a range. So if you think about it in frequencies and wavelengths, and the typical way of measuring it with numbers and that kind of thing, I'm not saying this is what it is, but to give you an example, it would be like, let's say all, thymus tissue pinged at between 50 and 70. So that's the kind of ranges that we're making something that's kind of an average of all of that. And so this is why, you may have done QRA testing with our thyroid product and it didn't test out for that client of yours. Because just because we make it and just because it's of the highest quality, of course, it doesn't mean that it's going to test for every single person as like the best thing for them. But one thing to understand, excuse me, I'm gonna go back here. One thing to understand if you're not really aware of it though is that when you make tablets or you encapsulate, these binders and fillers and flowing agents they're the rule, they're the norm of what is going on in the industry, in both pharmaceutical and nutraceutical manufacturing. They sell talc as a lubricant to help, make the tablets and the encapsulation machines run more efficiently. And so this is something that you may not have even heard of before because no one puts it on the label. Many of you probably have never seen talc on the label. You may have seen magnesium stearate, you may have seen titanium dioxide or something like that, but you maybe have never even seen talc. And why? Well, it's because it's part of the machinery and the lubrication for that, so it's not listed as an ingredient. But talc is definitely a questioned as a possible carcinogen, and certainly something that we wouldn't want bound in with nutrients that we're trying to feed to the body to create a transformation in the health. Because short term, could that work? Yeah. I mean, an excipient that you might have in a drug, even that you're taking for, 2 weeks to knock something out and then you're off of that, sure. I mean, I get it. Let's do that. But when we're talking about binders and fillers and flowing agents with nutritional products, something that theoretically your client, you even could be taking for the next 30 years, okay, now we got a problem, because what these things are doing in the body, we're just really starting to learn some of the issues with that. Um, about why we don't want to be using some of these toxic excipients. And there's a really good detailed write-up in the packet I'm talking about. You can just ask your customer service rep, um, the person that you work with there at PRL, say, I'd like that document Matt was talking about on the call, the introduction to PRL, and that'll have everything on the cell resonance, as well as the information, all the information on the excipients. And we highly encourage you to take these documents, print out some of these pages, and make them available either in a flip binder or just as, something that your clients can walk away with. And you know why? Because if you don't educate the clients on why these things are a problem, then they're going to look for other places to buy stuff. They're going to run out of whatever you're using with them, and then they're going to think they can just run to Costco and get the cheapest version of that and still have the same effect. And we see that, and what ends up happening is basically they don't have the same effect. And a lot of times they'll come back anyways, but it's all about education on the front end. So we've got a really good packet of that to give for you guys, to be able to give to your clients, to educate them further on why they want to continue to work with their practitioner for their nutritional program, because you guys are able to offer them the best, not only in product, but also advice. Now, there's some must-have products that, you know, if you're a practitioner, for the most part, I mean, some of you specialize in a very singular kind of practice where you're really focused on some kind of neurological technique, or maybe you're really focused on athletic performance or whatever. But by and large, most of you guys as practitioners deal with kind of everything that walks through the door. But probably the complaints that you hear the most, is I don't have energy. I don't feel like I used to. I'm not sleeping. I feel run down all the time. I feel bloated. I'm having some kind of digestive issue. And so the must-have products in your practice are the ones that are going to cover the majority of that stuff walking through the door. Now, the old naturopathic saying is death begins in the colon. Now, and if any of you have heard Dr. Marshall on his radio show, and if there's any one theme I would say for our company, it is definitely digestion is kind of the root of all dysfunction. If your digestion is off, I mean, really any sort of disease can manifest from that point. So, we are heavily focused on digestion as a company, and certainly optimizing the pH. If the overall tissue is acidic, then really anything can thrive. Um, whatever kind of infection, whatever kind of pathogens, they just love the acidic environment. So optimizing the pH really comes down to getting the minerals in the body, but also setting up the organs of the body to metabolize and utilize minerals. So in foundational basics, you've got things like superfoods that you can make, really nutrient dense smoothies and so forth out of. And then from there, with your clients, really, no matter what condition they walk through the door, you can always work pH and digestion and start to make a significant progress with them. A lot of people want to jump to the fanciest kind of, um, symptom dealing technique that they can, but, a lot of times they do so when a client is still dehydrated, when they don't even have basic digestion going on. And so if you're not digesting your food and you're deficient in minerals, how can your hormones be good? No wonder you're not sleeping well. Of course your immune system is run down. I mean, if you're not digesting your food and it's a day in, day out assault on your gut, how could you possibly think that you would have good immune function? So, these are the things that you want to make sure that you have these foundational basics in your practice. And if you flip it into your catalogs that we've sent you, with your welcome packets and so forth, there is a section that kind of breaks down what products fall into these various categories. And then, of course, you can always call any one of us, excuse me, and say, okay, I would like to focus on some of the sleep support or the foundational basics, and we can help you, as far as going over that. Let's see here. I did have a question pop up. Do you have a database of the published research to access in support of our hypothesis regarding supplements, like the impact of eating talc and so forth over time? Great question, and the answer is yes. The document that I'm suggesting that you guys ask your customer service reps for. Again, it's just an intro to PRL and QRA. Excuse me, is a pretty extensive document with all the actual citations for you know the newer studies that are showing formaldehyde compounds being formed from some of these excipients in the products. Formaldehyde, of course, being a carcinogen, and then talc is a very commonly accepted lubricant in both nutraceutical and pharmaceutical manufacturing. But as far as talc goes, there's lots of data on that as far as tumor formation and so forth. So the counter argument, of course, is well, it's just a little bit of talc, or it's just a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So what's the big deal? And so our, kind of thing over time basically is that honestly no one knows. But one thing we do know is that these things accumulate in the body, and there's various studies and X-rays and so forth that kind of elucidate that case. But like I said, there is that information available for you guys that you can ask for from your account managers tomorrow for sure. Okay, so some of the core products that you want to make sure that you guys have are to be able to excuse me, not just wow the your clients and not just get results, but also to build a residual income in your practice. Um, I've witnessed and read multiple practice building courses from different types of disciplines. Chiropractic, acupuncture, nutritionists, so forth. And one of the things that will keep people coming back to you well after they've even seen you as a client is if you can build a program of superfood support that they'll continue on with, that they can come back and get from you. So what are some of those superfoods? So this would be like the greens, which you can get in powder or minerals, powder or cap, excuse me. The minerals, we do have coral minerals. We have a product called Polar Mints. So if you're newer and you're not as familiar with it, the Polar Mints is a liquid. This is like desalinated Antarctic seawater, so very pure, taken from depth. So they've taken that water and desalinated it, and it's very high magnesium, but it does have other trace minerals as well. The Polar Mints comes in a 2 or an 8 ounce bottle. I actually I have a reverse osmosis filter at my house, and so when the water comes out of a reverse osmosis, it's dead. It's filtered. There's no pathogens in it or whatever, but it's been stripped basically of the minerals, and the water itself is dead. So, ideally, you would never just RO something and then just drink it. So you can add like a pinch of our pink salt to it. But another thing I like to do is I just keep one of those bottles of the Polar Mints right by the tap there. And when it comes out of the filter, we just put a couple drops in each glass. Or you can add it to, a larger thing of water. And what you're doing is putting those ionic minerals back into the water and helping it to restructure itself like it would be normally after you've filtered it. So if you're not as familiar with that one, I just wanted to share that with you. Basic, essential fatty acid oils. We have our blend you can get in liquid or caps. For medium chain triglycerides, you could get the coconut oil. Dr. Marshall has been pretty heavily using the DHA, the docosahexaenoic acid. So this would be like what your body would break those omega-3s down into, the DHA and EPA. And so we do have DHA from an algae source. Most of you are new to the company, but when I first started with the company, we did have cod liver oil. But and it was great. It was a high grade out of Norway. But literally, the company that will not sell it outside of Norway anymore. And literally, we've tested, I mean, just about every source you can imagine on the market, and none of them will meet our quality spec. So, fish oils, they're being touted heavily. So obviously, the worldwide supply is getting hit pretty hard. So that's why you're starting to see these oils, molecularly distilled and, altered in some kind of way, because they're taking something really junky and trying to clean it up and make it so it's presentable. So, I think the algaes are really going to be the future of the essential fatty acids, because, we just can't go on the way that we are with fish oils. The pink salt, if you've never used ours, is a blend of a Hawaiian volcanic and a Mediterranean seabed salt, so it's very mineral rich, has a pink color, tastes awesome. If you guys have never tried it, you can just use it on food. If you have younger clients that are having stomach issues and so forth, you can just have them add the salt either to their food or into water directly. And because the body takes the chloride fraction from the salt to produce hydrochloric acid, your younger clients, especially, a lot of times for some very minor digestive things and so forth, uh, that alone can be a fix. It's pretty awesome. The tomato concentrate powder is, a really good source of whole food potassium. It is like a concentrated powder of tomato. It's great for, if you get home late at night and you want to make a simple kind of soup. You can add the tomato and the pink salt and some of our nutritional flakes and make a very nutrient rich kind of, not a heavy digestive burden kind of soup. If for those of you that have never ordered this product, I just want to give you the tip that, because we don't use any sort of like anti-caking agents, flowed into the powder. If you get this tomato concentrate powder, and I'm telling you this so that you can tell your clients as well too, so you don't have someone come back and try to return something to you. If you get the tomato concentrate powder, put it in the fridge once you've opened it, because if you just open it up and keep it in your cabinet, it's going to turn into a brick at some point. And then you're going to be trying to break it off and, and get to your tomato powder. But if you just keep it in the fridge after you've opened it, it'll be no problem whatsoever as far as maintaining its powder form. Um, and so it's a pretty easy one to do, but I just want to give you that tip. Now, other superfoods, we do have a whey protein concentrate. We have the Trim Body Blend. So this would be like a meal replacement powder, the Trim Body Blend. Um, so if you have clients that are looking to do a weight loss program, that kind of thing, and they want a meal replacement, the Trim Body Blend would be the thing. If they're looking for just straight whey protein, um, from the concentrate form, not highly pasteurized, still maintaining a high glycomacropeptide count, the whey peptine is going to be your thing. Tocotrine complex is a stabilized rice bran powder. It actually tastes pretty good just by itself, but it's a great thing to add to smoothies because it's a very nutrient dense powder. It helps to promote healthy blood sugar. It's loaded with all kinds of different naturally occurring nutrients, and in a smoothie, it kind of it gives it more body to it. It gives it kind of a more of a richer mouth feel to it. The lecithin, everyone kind of knows what lecithin is, but it, contains the phosphatidyl groups in it, and it's an emulsifier. So in a smoothie, it's a great thing. It adds a nice texture to it as well. The camellia pollen, this is our replacement for the one that was called classic pollen. So if you've gotten a price list or a catalog and yours says classic pollen, which is, these are like bee pollen granules. Okay. So these would be like the not like flower pollens, but the actual granules of bee pollen that you would eat like a superfood. We have a new source of it, and they call it camellia pollen because the bees where they source this from actually feed in the flats where they grow green tea. And so the camellia is like, for the botanical name of green tea, the Camellia sinensis. So that's why they call it that. But essentially, it's bee pollen. Use it for all the same reasons you would that you know how, but it's just a new source of it. The mediaminos, these are steam proteinated amino acids from either a bean or rice source. The bean source has a higher amino acid profile, like each of the individual amino acids is a bit higher in that one. The rice has a more mellow taste. So I personally will like add it to a soup or to a smoothie, but I do know people that have taken the rice one and just added hot water and eaten it almost like cream of wheat. So if you're looking for a very easy to digest amino acid source, this would be the one. Colostrum. Hopefully everyone knows about colostrum already. If you don't, I mean, I could spend an hour just talking about that. But colostrum, assuming you're not a vegan, is an amazing superfood to start incorporating into your diet to get one of the elusive healing sugars. Um, to be able to help, support the overall gut health. This is a great go-to one, loaded with growth factors. Just really can't say enough about the colostrum. If you haven't tried ours before, I recommend you do. It's not. It definitely tastes better than really any other one I've tried in the market. Now, a lot of you have seen in the catalog the ND tincture for the nanized delivery. So, what does that mean? What is the ND technology? The ND technology really is the cutting edge of what we do at Premier Research Labs. If you're going to start, I mean, I think you should start with the basics, with some of the superfoods that we talked about, with some of the digestive products for sure. But you definitely want to start with at least a couple of these ND tinctures because no one else in the world has these. This is really an area that Dr. Marshall kind of took off on his own with and has really created something special with. So when we say ND technology, this is not nanotechnology like where we're using, microscopic machines and, that you hear some of the negatives of nanotechnology nowadays. Um, what we do is we take plant substrates, the herb, the bark, whatever it is, and we're feeding it to a milieu of probiotic organisms. And these guys will ferment and eat basically the substrate that we feed them and then deliver a new nutrient or a nutrient in a broken down form. So, in the case of the ND technology, um, you know, Dr. Marshall had looked at some research, some Israeli research where they were, you know, uh, breaking down nutrients and holding the nutrient in the probiotic membrane and feeding the nutrient to the body through the brush border cells. And he kind of got the idea for this whole process, which is now a patented process. Like we have the international patents on some of the products. Um, but these are extremely bioavailable, already pre-digested, and in their most bioavailable broken down form. So the one that all of you, if you've never tried it, do yourself a favor and get some of the Max B. I mean, it's always one of our top selling products. Um, it is B vitamins from a whole food source, not some weird petrochemical derivative, in their fully methylated form. So you're skipping the whole step of the methylation by the liver and the breakdown in the body, and you're getting these right into the body. So the B vitamins, I mean, most people can feel them, like literally feel them, and feel them working within minutes. Of taking the product. Now we have all these ND tinctures you have on the list here. Um, the Poptocin, if that's in your catalog currently or your price list currently, we actually did reduce the price on that one. We were able to make it a bit more efficiently, so that's good news. I think it knocked about $5 off on that one. And then we've changed the name to make it easier for you and your clients to find it. So we're just changing the name from Poptocin to Premier Resveratrol. And hopefully that, for all of you is going to be a relief. It's a lot easier for everyone to figure out what the heck it is. Um, those of you that maybe have been with us a little bit longer, the quinol is coming back very shortly from what all the labs are looking like. The NeuroND is probably still going to be another 1 to 2 months. But I just want to give you a mini update on that. Like I said, don't quote me on it, but all the lab stuff we've been getting back looks like it's finally right around the corner. Some of the other tinctures that are in the ND style are are these ones. And like I said, I would definitely encourage you to get some of these because again, this is the most unique aspect of our company in terms of our product, because a lot of these things, no other company in the world makes it in the format that we do. The final thing, that I consider to be like a staple for a practice, if you're looking at our catalog and there's hundreds of things and you're trying to figure out what the heck do I get first. Well, you can start with some of those superfoods that we talked about, start with some of the ND tinctures and so forth. But, you kind of can't go wrong in a practice with kidney and adrenal tonic herbs, because in the state that most people are in nowadays with, chronic stress, everyone's stressed to the max. Adrenals are fatigued, kidneys are beat up, you name it. Having some kidney adrenal tonics in your arsenal are going to really help you to support the clients right from the get-go. So, I mean, two that we use, I mean, a lot with people is the adaptogen R3 and the Renavin. The adaptogen R3 is like a blend of the rhodiolas of adaptogenic herbs. So it helps to make your body more adaptive to stress of all kinds, really. Um, the Renavin is a kidney building kind of tonic. It's a tonic mushroom blend amongst with other things that help to support and nourish the kidneys. So those are two that you for sure want to start out on. And you guys as practitioners, I mean, you need all the kidney strength you can get to carry out a full-time practice. So, I mean, you yourself wouldn't hurt from undertaking the practice of starting to integrate some of these for your own, kind of tonic herb program, just to make you a stronger person, as the years go on and as you're working in your practice. Now, um, I'm keeping this brief for you guys. I don't want to keep you on too late. But I just wanted to cover a couple of things for you that I think will just make your life a lot easier. And all of this will be available to you, the slides, tomorrow as well. So if you have office staff that is going to be doing some of the things we're about to cover, you can have these and just show them to them, or they can just talk to their rep at PRL, and it'll make it a lot easier as far as interacting and us being able to help you as best as possible. So the support tools that are available to you guys, I mean, at PRL, we're not just basically a bunch of salespeople. I mean, we're all QRA trained, clinically trained, working with Dr. Marshall in the clinics as a support staff, as well as answering your calls on the phone. So we do get into clinical protocols, trying to help you based off the experience of what our network of practitioners are doing, as well as what our clinics are doing, and what is working. So we're at a great crossroads of a lot of practitioners and what is working in their practice. So I encourage you to take advantage of the staff that we have at PRL to help you find some answers to the questions that may be some tough cases and things that you haven't really had the best tools yet to deal with. We do have a monthly webinar, and that's the second Tuesday of each month. These are awesome. These are like, lately what we've been doing is featuring practitioner case studies from other colleagues of yours, other practitioners, and their actual case study of what someone had and what they needed to do to turn it around. So it kind of gives you some anecdotal evidence of things that you might be able to try in your clinic to see if they work for you. Now, because of the claims that are made on some of these by the practitioners, they're not recorded and available to you immediately. Because our legal has to kind of go through them, make sure that no wild claims were made that are going to put anyone at risk. So I really encourage you to try to make that one if you can on the second Tuesday of each month. We are working on a more streamlined format where we will have those cataloged on the PR Labs website. So once you logged in with your practitioner account, you'd be able to check out those past webinars and so forth. Um, Within our regions, we'll be doing product focus webinars as new products come out. And so we'll be kind of breaking down the ingredient of the product and giving you all the science. Some of you guys, like to geek out on the products like I do and really get into the biochemistry and how these things are working in the body. I recently just did one on the asamanin, and we'll be doing more like that. And so if you guys really like the science and understanding, how the products work and what are the ingredients doing in the body, we're going to be providing those to you as well. We do the quantum reflex analysis training in seminars around the country. QRA is the modality that Dr. Marshall and Dr. Forbes basically, their 30 plus years of practice kind of culminated in giving birth to this modality, which is based in kinesiology, based in muscle testing, but using the acupuncture system, using classic naturopathy tools, using Ayurveda, really kind of taking the best of everything they could find and putting it into a cohesive system. So, I definitely encourage you to come out to one of those and see what it's all about, um, and see if it's something that is going to work as a tool for your practice. We do have an FTP site with marketing tools. I'm going to show you an example here on the next slide of what that looks like. And then, and what's around the corner is, we are working hot and heavy on recording videos to explain a lot of the things with the excipients and why that's a problem. What is QRA? We're working on a lot of support videos that you'll be able to send your clients to really so you don't have to explain the same thing over and over and over again. We are also working on a online learning module with the QRA to be able to foster the education further through an online format in addition to our hands-on seminars. And so those are some of the things around the corner that'll be coming. Now with the FTP site, if you're not familiar with what an FTP site is, if you don't even know what the heck that means, just think of an FTP site as a big storage site on the internet. I can't email you certain things because the file size is way too big. And so your email server is going to reject that. So what you can do is you can use an FTP site to where I can put huge files on the web, and then you can go to that site and download them and use them as you wish. And so this is where we're going to put the are the photos for the products. Like if you wanted to use the photos either for your own personal website, or if you have something else that you're doing like a product talk in your practice, it'll be there. If you're looking for the PDF files of all the literature we have available, it'll be there. If you're looking for any previously recorded webinars or videos or things like that that we've done, it's going to be there. So when you do it, you would just copy that link that you see on the slide right there, and don't worry, your customer service rep will email you exactly what is on the slides. You don't have to like write it down off the slide, but you would just copy paste that URL right there, and you can either pop it into that same URL line, like where when you go on the internet and it says www.google whatever, you can just copy paste that thing and put it right in there, hit enter, and then it'll pop up with a window that looks like this. So you can see I was on Google and I, just popped the URL for that cyberlink.net in there, and it popped up this authentication required little box here. And so, what I did was I just put in the username and password that you see right there. I type them in right there to the little access point, and then the screen may look different depending on your browser, but it should look something like this, where you can see how there's a tree here. There's images and labels for the products, literature, webinars, all these practitioner support tools. All this stuff is going to be here, and you can download any of it at will. Okay. Yours may look like this. So if you enter it, it looks kind of like that. Doesn't matter. The only reason it looks different is because of your browser, but all the information is going to be the same. But you can see it's the same thing. It's broken down into categories, and you can get it all there. If there's something if you go through all of that and there's something that you don't find on there, just contact us and we'll let you know if we do have it, and if we do, and if we can put it up on the FTP for you so you can download it. Okay. So let's cover just some, this is the last bit right here, and then I'll go through the questions for you guys. These are basic things that you're going to want to know about working with us. And again, if it's mostly your office staff that's going to be doing some of this stuff, we can show them the slides, we can go through it with them, we can give you the slides, and you can go through it with them, but just so that we're all on the same page here, okay? Um, Back orders. Now, when you place an order, if an item is on back order, it is our typical practice to tell you that, to say, hey, that thing you ordered, that's on back order. Do you want to keep it on back order, or do you want me to just take it off and use it, try to put it on your next order? Okay. I personally don't like to put stuff on back order that I know is going to be out of stock for more than a month, because you're basically, your credit card authorization for that product is going to drop off in 2 to 4 weeks. I mean, as in, we would have to go back in there and recharge your card and so forth. So, I'd prefer to add it to a subsequent order if I know it's going to be out for a little bit. But if it's, you ordered it on Tuesday and it's going to be in on Friday, well, then yeah, we'll back order it. And then when it comes in, it just automatically ships out to you, and you're not paying for the shipping again because you already paid for it with that first order. Okay. Um, so it's your prerogative if you do want to keep stuff on back order, but we don't physically charge it to your card until it leaves the building. So let me just give you a quick example. If you order $500 worth of stuff and $20 of that is on back order, then what's going to happen is, when that box leaves the door, leaves out the building that night, and it's invoiced, you're going to see a charge the next day for $480. That remaining $20 worth of back ordered product is not going to get charged until it actually leaves the building. Okay. The next, bulk ordering. A lot of you ask, what if I order larger amounts? Do you guys have deeper discounts that I can take advantage of? Yes, we do. We have a standing 10% below wholesale discount if for orders of 144 units of something or more. So you might be thinking, if you're new with us, like, holy cow, 144 bottles? That seems like quite a bit. Now, it's all about knowing your turnover, because we can help you basically. Like, if you start ordering, let's say, and your patients are loving the B vitamins and you're just selling a bunch of them, and every 3 months every month you're ordering in the ballpark of 40 to 50 of them, and then so every 3 months you're kind of turning over 150. Well, we'll help you, guide you, and that, hey, if you just do the upfront on this, you're actually going to get yourself an extra 10% margin. And that's a great way to, add to your bottom line if there are things that you're using in high volume and turning over. Um, this ordering convenience, this is how the boxes come. Some of you like to know this because you like to be able to just get a box of something and not have to fish through what it is to fit, so if you're that kind of person, you like to have things stored that way. If you're ordering like a 2 ounce bottle, let's say, of the B vitamins, if you order in multiples of 24, it's going to be one whole box of those 2 ounce B vitamins. So again, we'll make this available to you guys. So if you like to order that way, we do have that broken down for you. For product issues and replacing the product, we do log 100% of your complaints to a complaint log that is monitored to GMP compliance. So we do take it very seriously if you have a complaint, and we do want to hear that. Um, if you have an issue on the order and it's a mistake on our end, like, you said this and we put in the wrong product, we'll send you a call tag. The call tag comes to your email, and you print it out and just slap it on the box, and UPS will take it away from you. Okay. So you're not paying for the shipping to get it back from us. If an item arrives damaged to you, we do need you to observe the condition of the box that it showed up in, because sometimes they're throwing boxes around and it gets, a box gets split open and they retape it and then they put stuff back into it. Doesn't happen a whole heck of a lot. UPS is pretty good, but it does. So we just need you to observe that. You can take a picture of it or just observe it, and then get us the lot numbers of the damaged items. And I'll show you where the lot number is in here in just a second. Um, Now, if we send you a replacement item, I want to bring this up because I get this question a lot. So I just want to head it off at the pass for you. If I send you a replacement, You will get an invoice for that, and that's so that we can keep a track of it on our system, but you are not charged for it. So let me just show you what that looks like, okay? Oops. Right here. This is, the invoice that you guys normally get. And where I've circled in red, you'll see there's a thing called terms there. In that area, it's going to say replacement or UPS claim replacement. So you know that you did not actually get charged for it. Even though there's an amount here and all of that, you're not being charged. It's just for our record keeping, okay? So that we know that we've done a replacement for you. Um, Shipping cost. We do plug directly into a UPS computer, and it calculates the shipping of your order based on weight and where it's going to. So if you anything over $500 is free on all the supplement items, but things that are non-supplement items, food items, things like the Medi Body Pack, bath, so forth, those are assessed for shipping even if the order is over $500. Okay. Now, some of you do even bigger orders. Orders over 250 pounds generally are going to go freight shipping versus UPS. So if the order goes freight, we do need to know if you're going to receive this at a business or at a house. Do you have an unloading dock or not? Are they going to need to bring a dolly, to get it up a flight of stairs or not? So if you're calling us, then this is what we need to know. But if your staff is handling all this, again, have them call in and we'll give them all this information so that they're hip to what we need to be able to provide you the best service. Because if we don't get all this, then it causes delays basically, and we want to get the product to you as quickly as possible. Um, and these are just some other things. On freight, we do need a contact name and phone number so the driver can find you. And then you can actually order an FOB pickup from our facility. Let's say if you have a FedEx account or something else and you want to use that and you don't want to use UPS, you can arrange that. Or if you have a UPS account number, you can absolutely use your own UPS account number if you want to. Some people aren't aware of that, so I just want to make sure you did know that. Drop shipping. We do provide drop shipping service to your clients. It's sent to them without an invoice, so they don't, get any pricing or anything like that. There's a $10 fee per order to do so. There's no minimum amount on a drop ship order. Like the minimum for you guys normally is 100, but like let's say you do an order with us and you're like, oh yeah, I need to send 2 bottles of colostrum to my client in Ohio. No problem. There's no minimum on the dropship orders, and we just assess the shipping via the normal rate. Okay. Now with drop shipping, you can order for your clients and have it sent to them directly, but it is ordered through your account, meaning that we're going to be billing you, and then you would be billing your client. So please don't have your clients call in directly to us to try to order for you, because we can't allow people to just use your card and be ordering on your account. So your staff or whatever would just place the order with us. We would send it directly to your client, and then you would just do billing with them, and we send you the invoice for that. The expiration dates. I get the question a lot, where is the expiration date on the product? So at PRL, we actually have manufactured dates called a lot number. And you can see where the arrow is pointing at. That's generally where the lot number is on the product. The lot number is a date of production, and it reads year, month, day. So you can look at this bottle in the picture, and you can see that it was produced on January 18th of 2012. And so we give the industry standard of a 2-year expiration from that time. Now, a lot of the products, to be honest with you, like the alcohol tinctures, like the ND products, and some of the other ones that we do the induction sealing with, like the powders, I mean, in reality, they would keep for way longer than 2 years. I mean, but we just can't claim that on the bottle. And so in the United States, you don't have to have an expiration date on your bottle. So we put a production date, and that's how you read that. Um, so if your clients are asking you and so forth, that's how you would explain it to them. And again, we can make all these slides available to you. So, if you just need an easy, if you want to print this slide out and have it there for your patients, you can. Okay. Um, the monthly special. It's a buy six, get one free special. So the way that it reads on your invoice is that the system is discounting that free bottle, is taking that free bottle and discounting the unit price of each bottle to match it up so that you get that free bottle. Okay. And I'll show you what that looks like on an invoice just so we're clear. Now, we don't find out the special until the first of the month. So, if you order on the last day of the month, and there's something on your order that happens to be the special for the next month, we're not trying to screw you. We just don't literally get those until we come in that day on the first. So, if there's something from that month that you want to take advantage of the special for, by all means, make sure you get it on that last day of the month, because that next day it's going to be something completely different. And so what I would say is, if you don't need to, and you don't want the special from that month, I would definitely, if you can, wait until that next day on the first so that you can get that special for that next month. Okay. So let me show you what that looks like in your invoice. Because again, I do get this question quite a bit of, hey, wait a minute, I didn't get my free bottle. So you can see here where I've highlighted in red the nucleotide. This is an order from this month. So the nucleoimmune is our special for this month. They got 14 of them. Okay, buy six, get one free. So they got, buy 12, get two free. And normally the price of this product is $12.48. But you can see here the unit price has been marked down to $10.70. This is what makes that free bottle happen. Okay, so when you get your invoices and you've had a special on there, that's how you can tell that yes, we did give you that special, because the unit price is discounted below that. Okay. Um, Last bit is web ordering. So we finally got the web ordering processes set up. If you're a new account, you should be already set up in the database for online ordering. If you've had an account for a little bit, we are in the process of batch updating everybody so that you'll be on the online system. Okay. Um, Now you would just use the email that we have in the system to log in, or to get your password to log into the system. And I'll show you what that looks like here in just one second. Some items may be missing from the online store. So if you do see something in your catalog, but you don't see it online and you're trying to order, just add it in as part of the comments section, um, and we can get that added on to the order for you. Or you can shoot us a quick email and say, hey, I did an online order, I didn't see this, go ahead and add it on. We're working to get all of those things that are missing corrected as quickly as possible. Now, if you want to start doing the online ordering, go to prlabs.com, and then in the upper right, there's going to be a big Shop Now button. Okay, you would click that, and then it's going to look like this. Okay, this is the page. After you click Shop Now, you'll be here. And then you can see right here, it says, would you like to log yourself in? So if you click that, it's going to go to this page. Okay. And it's going to say, returning customer, please log in. So if you have your email and your login, go ahead and log in. If you don't, see that red arrow? It says, forgot your password. So go ahead and click that, and then it's going to take you here, and it's going to ask you to enter your email that's on file so they can send you a temporary password. Okay. Now, if the email that we have as your main email for your account is the one that you put into this box, then you should get a screen that looks like this. Okay. It's green. It says a new password has been sent to your email address. You'll get an email with like a temporary, weird, a bunch of letters password. Just copy paste that, come back, log in. You can go to my account and reset your password to whatever you want. Okay. Now, let's say that you do this and you enter your email and you get this screen and it's red and it says there's an error. What that means is that either we don't have you set up, or the email that we have on file as your main email is not the correct one anymore. So maybe you got a new Gmail or whatever and you didn't tell us. So we just need to update that for you. So if you get this screen where you're trying to enter it in and it's not, it's saying that it's not found in the records, just go ahead and give us a call. Or email us and let us know what the correct email should be, and we'll get you all set up. Okay.